Let's get right into it. Number 10. The coffee chain that got too greedy. Starbucks, the coffee empire that convinced people to spend rent money on warm milk with foam. But in 2018, they made one small change that almost cost them billions. They tried to quietly raise prices without anyone noticing. They didn't just make your latte cost more. They shrank the cup sizes, reduced the espresso shots, and kept the same price tag. It was like ordering a tall and getting a short. But they told you it's the lighting. Baristas started calling it the espresso tax. A regular latte used to be 2 shots. Suddenly, 1 shot became the standard. If you wanted the same strength, you had to upgrade to a double. Translation: pay extra for what used to be normal. Customers noticed. Starbucks scam started trending on X. But instead of apologizing, Starbucks launched the rewards program, basically a loyalty scam in disguise. They gamified addiction. Every purchase earned stars, but the catch? They kept inflating the value of stars every year. What used to cost 100 stars now costs 200. It's like your savings account, but instead of inflation, you're earning fake digital points that lose value faster than the Argentine peso. It got so bad that in 2022, the government actually looked into digital loyalty manipulation as deceptive marketing. That's when Starbucks quietly updated their system again and removed small print about star inflation altogether. Now, Starbucks isn't banned globally, but some regions, like parts of Europe, forced them to rewrite their entire loyalty terms after public backlash. All because one executive thought they could outsmart inflation and the internet at the same time. Number 9. The airline that charged for everything. Welcome to Spirit Airlines, the brand that looked at air travel and said, "What if we made flying feel like getting mugged at 30,000 feet?" Spirit's business model was simple: sell you the illusion of cheap travel, then charge you for everything that makes flying tolerable. Want a seat? That'll be $25. When you want a window? That's $35. Want oxygen? Breathe fast before boarding. But the real scam came from dynamic pricing. Spirit discovered that if you refreshed the booking page too many times, the ticket price would rise automatically. The website literally punished you for indecision. In 2017, one Spirit exec bragged at a conference that their ancillary revenue, corporate speak for tricking customers into fees, made up 46% of total profits. Then came the meltdown. Thousands of passengers flooded social media with stories of $9 tickets turning into $400 trips once fees were added. The Federal Aviation Administration even investigated Spirit's mandatory optional fees. Their greed climaxed when Spirit tried charging passengers for printing boarding passes at the airport. That's when regulators stepped in. Several countries, including Canada, banned Spirit's pricing model outright, labeling it predatory fare manipulation. Now, Spirit still flies in the US, but its name has become a meme for chaos. One passenger wrote, "Spirit Airlines is like ordering a sandwich and realizing bread costs extra." All because one greedy strategy turned air travel into a hostage negotiation. Number 8. The bank that sold its customers. Banks are supposed to protect your money. Wells Fargo decided to steal it instead. Between 2002 and 2016, Wells Fargo employees created over 3.5 million fake accounts under real customer names, all to hit impossible sales targets. You'd open a savings account, and 2 weeks later you'd mysteriously have a new credit card, car loan, and insurance policy, all without your consent. Why? Because managers paid bonuses based on how many accounts each employee opened. The greed started at the top. CEO John Stumpf turned cross-selling into a religion. He'd bragged that the average customer had 6 Wells Fargo accounts. Problem is, most customers didn't even know they had to. When regulators finally uncovered the fraud, Wells Fargo tried to blame low-level employees. Over 5,000 staff were fired, but executives kept their bonuses, totaling over $120 million. The fallout? Wells Fargo was banned from growing its assets by the Federal Reserve, an unprecedented punishment. That's right, the 4th largest bank in the US was legally banned from getting bigger. Customers closed accounts, politicians demanded jail time, and Wells Fargo became a case study in how to destroy 150 years of trust in one PowerPoint meeting. Number 7. The fast food giant that lied about its portions. McDonald's, the brand that built an empire on 2 golden arches and a supersized lie. When the world started demanding healthier food, McDonald's responded with marketing. They introduced the McWrap, the premium salad, and even fresh smoothies. The problem? Those healthier items were more calorie-dense than the Big Mac. A single McWrap had 750 calories more than a cheeseburger and fries combined. And when people started catching on, McDonald's tried another trick: portion optical illusion. They redesigned their packaging to look smaller while quietly increasing portion sizes to boost perceived value. The drink cups were the biggest offenders. A medium was actually 22 ounces, not 16. Nutritionists called it portion distortion. McDonald's called it consumer satisfaction. Then came the infamous 100% beef claim, which was technically true, because the company's meat supplier was literally named 100% Beef Co. A legal loophole turned marketing into mythology. After years of lawsuits, several European countries forced McDonald's to disclose accurate calorie counts and banned misleading health claims in 2018. And just like that, the McWrap disappeared faster than a free ice cream cone on a hot day. All because one greedy marketing executive thought they could outsmart math and everyone believed them. Number 6. The crypto exchange that couldn't stop printing money. FTX was supposed to be the future of finance. Instead, it became the future of fraud with better graphics. Sam Bankman-Fried built FTX on a promise, a transparent, fair crypto exchange that gave power back to the people. But behind the scenes, he was siphoning billions from customer accounts into his private hedge fund, Alameda Research. It's like if your bank took your savings and spent it on Dogecoin and pizza rolls. FTX executives lived in a $40 million penthouse in the Bahamas, funded by customer deposits. They even had a group chat called Wire Fraud. Yes, really. For a while, everything looked fine. Celebrities like Tom Brady and Larry David promoted FTX. The Miami Heat renamed their stadium after it. But in November 2022, one leaked balance sheet revealed the truth. FTX had $9 billion in liabilities and less than $1 billion in liquid assets. Overnight, the empire collapsed. Investors lost everything. Regulators swooped in, and Sam went from crypto genius to federal inmate in less time than it takes Bitcoin to drop 10%. The US and Japan outright banned FTX from operating. The EU followed. A once global company was erased from existence because one guy couldn't resist playing God with other people's money. Sam called it a mistake. The rest of the world called it what it was: greed, weaponized at scale. Number 5. The Unlimited Returns Company. Once upon a time, there was a clothing brand that wanted to out Amazon. It was called Zappos, and it built its empire on a simple promise: free returns, anytime, no questions asked. At first, it sounded like the most customer-friendly policy ever. People could buy 10 pairs of shoes, keep one, and ship the rest back for free. Everyone loved it except Zappos accountants. You see, a small number of customers realized the math didn't add up, and they went feral. Some ordered dozens of items a week, wore them once, then sent them back. Others started renting designer shoes for parties, then mailing them back with gum stuck inside. Zappos called them power customers. Internally, employees called them the locusts. Returns started piling up like mountains. The warehouses looked like post-apocalyptic shoe graveyards. Shipping companies made millions off return labels. And the company's CEO, Tony Hsieh, famously said, "If we lose money on every order, we'll make it up in volume." Spoiler, they didn't. After Amazon bought Zappos, they quietly changed the return system, adding hidden time limits, tracking frequent returners, and even banning repeat offenders. Yep, people literally got banned from shopping. The once famous unlimited returns policy now comes with fine print longer than your average lease agreement. All because a few clever shoppers realized no questions asked was an invitation, not a policy. Number 4. The investment firm that tricked the world. Remember when investing was about patience, planning, and diversification? Then along came Bernie Madoff, who said, "Forget that, I'll just make everyone rich by pretending." Madoff's hedge fund looked perfect on paper, stable 10% returns every year no matter what the market did. In reality, it was a giant pyramid of lies. He was paying old investors with money from new ones, just like a glorified group chat Ponzi scheme. The greed came disguised as genius. When the 2008 financial crash hit, investors begged to pull their money out, except there was no money. Just a few spreadsheets and a stack of fake account statements. $65 billion vanished overnight. Celebrities, charities, pension funds, all wiped out. And the worst part? The SEC had been warned years earlier, but ignored it because Madoff was too respected. He literally built part of the NASDAQ system. His scam was so massive that Ponzi scheme doesn't even cover it. People had to invent a new phrase, Madoffed. After he was arrested, regulators overcorrected. Now every financial advisor has to drown you in paperwork, disclaimers, and endless risk assessment forms just to move $100. Madoff didn't just ruin his investors, he ruined the entire financial trust ecosystem. One man's greed turned Wall Street into a minefield of paranoia. Number 3. The streaming platform that exploited its users. Ah yes, Netflix, the company that went from hero to villain faster than your Wi-Fi buffer circle. Once upon a time, Netflix was the cool underdog that killed cable TV. You paid $9, watched everything, and felt morally superior for cutting the cord. Then greed kicked in. First came the password-sharing crackdown. Netflix realized too many people were actually using the product as designed, sharing movies with friends and family. So they invented a new crime, account freeloading. Now they charge extra if you share your login with someone who doesn't live under your roof. Your grandma in another city. That's $7.99 more. Criminal. Then they doubled down, literally. Prices jumped, ads were added, and suddenly you were paying more to watch less. The final straw came when Netflix split its ad-free tier and removed basic features from cheaper plans. You couldn't even download shows anymore unless you upgraded. This level of greed caused mass cancellations. Stock prices crashed, subscribers left, and Netflix became a case study in how to ruin goodwill overnight. Ironically, they blamed market conditions. Translation: we got too greedy and assumed everyone would just keep paying. Now Netflix faces tighter regulations in several countries for deceptive pricing and algorithm manipulation. The platform that revolutionized streaming has officially become the monster it set out to destroy. Cable TV with worse UI. Number 2. The subscription that bankrupted its own customers. Imagine paying $10 a month for unlimited movies in theaters. Sounds like a dream, right? That's what MoviePass promised, and it worked until reality showed up. The company's business model made no sense from day one. They paid full ticket prices to theaters while charging subscribers less than the cost of a single movie. At first, investors thought it was genius. Then they realized it was like selling $20 bills for $5 and calling it market disruption. MoviePass tried everything to cover the losses, disabling accounts, changing passwords, randomly running out of tickets for popular films. They even secretly tracked users' locations to see what theaters they went to. Eventually, it all collapsed. The company lost over $150 million in a single quarter. Executives were sued, investors fled, and the government stepped in. The FTC banned MoviePass's founders from ever working in subscription services again. That's how bad it got. Their greed was so naked it made Fire Festival look like a picnic. And yet people still miss it. Because for a brief shining moment, it was the best deal in the world until greed turned it into a slow-motion bankruptcy tutorial. Number 1. The billion-dollar brand that collapsed overnight. And finally, WeWork, the company that promised to revolutionize workspaces by renting desks. Adam Neumann, the founder, was charismatic, charming, and absolutely allergic to financial reality. WeWork was supposed to be a real estate company, but Adam called it a tech company to attract investors. That simple lie multiplied its valuation from $5 billion to $47 billion. They didn't just rent offices, they sold community, spirituality, and vibes. He literally trademarked the word we, then sold it back to his own company for $59 million. He preached "we before me" while buying mansions, private jets, and tequila fountains for the office. WeWork's IPO documents were so insane that analysts called it a cult, disguised as a startup. The company collapsed almost instantly after investors realized it was losing $219,000 per hour. Adam was forced out, but somehow walked away with over $1 billion. The employees he preached "we" to, fired overnight. WeWork became the ultimate warning that greed in business doesn't always look evil. Sometimes it looks barefoot, holding a green juice, saying, "We're changing the world." Now regulators have banned WeWork from making certain claims in future filings, and investors treat company culture pitches like potential crime scenes. One person's delusion destroyed billions in value and changed how startups are judged forever. That's it for today. 10 stories. 10 lessons in how greed ruins everything. Want to know the real moral? You don't need to break the law to destroy a business, just get greedy enough. The next video will change how you see money. Don't miss it and subscribe.